Liz Peek is with me this morning. I think that was applause for my editorial. I'm not entirely sure about that, but there you go. Liz, these higher taxes policies, they resonate with so many Democrats, big Democrat voters, because I think it's jealousy and envy. What say you?
Well, I think, yes, I think we have class warfare going on, propelled by the Democratic Party. But that's only part of their base, Stuart. In terms of wealthy people, I think it's this guilty, liberal, rich group that feels like, yeah, I should be paying more. But here's what I call this. I think there's a failure of imagination. That was what the 9/11 Commission called the attacks on the World Trade Center by Muslim jihadists. It was our failure of imagination that we didn't foresee that coming. Democrats can't imagine a world in which they lower taxes, which, by the way, in every single instance, raises more revenue, right? So how could they not even contemplate that? But I think the crazy thing here is over time, we're watching an exodus of taxpayers and businesses from California, Illinois, New York, New Jersey, all these blue states that have high tax burdens and are very regulated. People are leaving. What does that do? That basically diminishes the Democrats' power. They have fewer seats in the House because of this exodus from New York, New Jersey, California, et cetera. So their power is being reduced. Don't they get that over time? California may well lose 5 seats in the next census. Businesses are fleeing California, and now this proposed wealth tax, which probably will pass, has all kinds of tech billionaires, even people who are liberal, rich, white tech billionaires saying, I'm not here any longer. I'm out. I'm going to Texas. I'm going to Florida. I can't understand how they don't get what's happening.
Because they think that all these illegals will stay in the blue states and boost their numbers in 2030 so they don't lose seats in the House.
That is true, Stuart, if indeed Trump is not successful in challenging the way the census is conducted. If he is successful in not allowing illegals to be counted. Remember, there is a phrase in the Constitution, under the subject to the jurisdiction thereto, meaning if you are subject to the jurisdiction of the United States government, then you should be counted. Are people here illegally, undocumented people, subject to the jurisdiction of the American government? No, they're not. So there is a serious legal challenge to that. But I mean, you know, for example, can I just make one more point? Florida, 23 million people live in Florida. 8 million people live in New York. Florida's entire budget is smaller than New York City's. Think about that. I mean, it's completely crazy. New York doesn't have a revenue problem. It has a spending problem.
Quickly on this one.
Yeah.
The Munich Security Conference, AOC, well, she really stumbled through answering a question about Taiwan. J.D. Vance called it embarrassing. And watch this.
I think it's a person who doesn't know what she actually thinks. And I've seen this way too much in Washington with politicians where they are given lines, and when you ask them to go outside the lines they were given, they completely fall apart because, look, does anybody really believe that AOC has very thoughtful ideas about the global world order or about what the United States should do with our policy in Asia or our policy in Europe? And it shows how thin the Democrats' policy actually is on all these very, very important questions. Look, that was embarrassing.
Liz, having read your op-ed, I can conclude that you don't think that AOC is ready for prime time and not ready for the presidency.
Major FACEPLANT in Munich, no question about it. But what's interesting is she says, well, they didn't listen to my bigger message, which is about wealth inequality. Sad for her, The Economist came out yesterday saying, guess what? In most Western countries, wealth inequality is coming down.
I saw that.
Oops.
Yeah, oops.
Another oops.
Liz, that's great. Yeah. Thanks very much for joining us, as always.
Thank you for having me.
Back to the market, please.